Not drinking piss, by the way, in case you're wondering. What's up, guys? Back with another video. Sitting here again, as usual, extremely severely, miserably depressed, and in the type of mood to commit Sudoku. I'm not, by the way, by any means saying that to gain sympathy. I much rather prefer to type. I much rather people to type in the comments things like KYS dog than things like, oh, I feel so bad for you, I feel so sorry for you. It's not at all to seek sympathy. But I was just sitting here and wondering, in people that are considered otherwise healthy, like myself, I don't have physical brain trauma, I don't have cancer, I don't have diabetes, I don't have, some sort of an autoimmune condition which could be contributing to chronic inflammation and thus depression. But in otherwise healthy individuals with depression, do you guys think that that is just an adaptive evolutionary thing? Because, for one, there is definitely a reason why depression, of course, not stemming from like a major brain injury, but I'm talking about just in a person, it's completely normal, healthy, especially young, because older people automatically have more problems with the blood brain barrier, thus making them more vulnerable to depression. But I'm talking about depression in otherwise healthy people. It could be a survival mechanism. It could be a sign of biology slash nature telling you to change your life. And I've definitely tried that and it didn't work and only made things worse. But it could there's a major theory that things such as rumination, which I have, that's probably one of the most gruesome symptoms of my depression, is the constant and never ending obsessive rumination, about negative things. And then, of course, also in future based, which is called worrying. But as I was saying, there is a theory that the rumination from the default mode network is because it's essentially your brain trying to figure out what is wrong and what do I need to do to fix this current situation that I'm in. So it's one of those things because I learned a lot about depression and anxiety in an attempt to fix it, of course, because not saying that this is for every country, but or for every doctor, but of all the psychiatrists I've went to, I usually came back from them worse. With one of the worst feelings that I personally experienced is just the feeling that you're telling your life story, which is not comfortable. I really do not, even making this video makes me socially anxious. Talking about, severe depression, committing Sudoku, all that type of stuff. But then the worst thing that could happen is that the psychiatrist is not even listening, you know what I mean? And even when they listen a little bit, they very, very quickly draw conclusions that, in my opinion, are completely wrong. And of course, they're gonna say, I have an MD next to my main name, and my LinkedIn account mocks you to hell and back. That's what they're going to say. But I mean it in like, I've had doctors making ridiculous claims and ridiculous observations. But that's one thing, of course. But it's just that I personally have experienced that the psychiatrists just don't listen. And even if they do listen, they will only talk to you for like 30 minutes. And then if you're lucky, because in my country it's relatively hard to get prescriptions for medication, but even if you get them, it's like done after 30 minutes if you get them. But yeah, that's just another topic for another video. To end it and to summarize it, I'm constantly rambling. I do think that there's definitely an evolutionary adaptive component of depression as a way to isolate yourself potentially from danger, potentially from living a lifestyle which is not going to be according to what your DNA wants, which is basically like doing dirty things and reproducing, actually, survival. And at the end of the day, the only way you can truly survive is to pass on your genes. I actually have a book about it. 1 second. This book, which is controversial, The Selfish Gene. It's a very interesting book because it also explains why sometimes parents would literally sacrifice their own lives for their children. And that's because that is a form of survival. Because every human being is eventually going to die. So the only real way to survive, aka to pass on your genes, is to have children. And if you're, for example, old and sick, it might be in your genes' best interest to sacrifice your own life to give your offspring better odds of survival. But I should probably end it now because I'm rambling too much. Thank you for watching.